Alright, good morning. Today I'm looking at a Class A ship that I've been tinkering with for the last couple of days. I was originally going to make this a Class B, but I decided to go ahead and kind of prove to myself that you can make a really good, aesthetically pleasing, functional Class A ship without sacrificing too much, other than things like shields that are inherently weak on Class A ships. But I'm happy with the way this came out. It's got all the firepower I can put on there. Like I said, the shields on Class A's are just inherently weak. You can't go any higher than I think 800 and something is the max. It's got decent hab space. I think I've got room for 5 2x1 habs inside the frame. There's room for 5 passengers, 8 crew members. I always try to keep my jump range at least 28, which is a real problem with Class A ship builds because the grav drives are just inherently weak. This is the most powerful grav drive that you can put in the in the ship. It's at 27 thrust, jump thrust. So if you go any higher on the cargo, it doesn't matter because you already have the most powerful grav drive you can put in there. Your jump range is going to start going down, into the 26, 27 range. Excuse me, which I didn't want to do. So plus I'm out of space for mass. I have 1 kilogram of mass left to play with. Anything over 1,263, and the mobility will drop to 99. And I always shoot for 100 on my ship builds, especially on a Class A build. You want to be as maneuverable as possible. You don't want to be a sitting duck. So this is it. As I said, I made some decisions purely aesthetic choices instead of functional. Uh, like this wavy top at the top, the Deimos bumpers that I used. I just thought I'd be artsy and try that out. And the same with the Nova radiators, which I found barely fit in there. I mean, they're like a millimeter of space left in between. The hardest part about this entire build was this front, this gap right here under the Viking bridge. These Viking bridges are a problem because they have these 2 hard points under the cockpit, and they interfere with literally just about everything you try to stick up there. Like I tried cargos, I tried uh, braking thrusters, habs, whatever. Nothing fits in there. Uh, I wanted to put the grav drive up there, but it doesn't fit in there either. There are some grav drives that will go in there, but they're like the really weak ones. Like this Vanguard Recon drive will fit in there, but that only has a 19 light year jump range, and that's not going to be adequate for what I want to do with it. I really thought about glitching some stuff in there, and I actually did experiment with that a little bit. I put a Stroud braking thruster here, and I glitched it up, and it actually fits. Well, it doesn't fit, but when you glitch it in there, it goes in there, and it looks really nice. But I don't want to break my rule of no glitch builds. So I tried a couple other things, like you can stick, there's some fuel tanks that'll go in there. So I toyed with some builds that look like this. And then another added benefit of that is you can stick the shield generator down in there like that, and it fits in just fine. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and put this Stroud bracer back in there just to kind of fill in the gap right there. Whatever, it is what it is. Other than that, I'm happy with it. It's got my standard Nova braking engines that I always like to use on my ship builds. I pushed up the cargo as high as I can for a Class A ship build without sacrificing the mobility and the jump range. That's as high as I could get it. I have had some ship builds that hit like I think 2,500 and still maintain 100 mobility, but those are basically just no aesthetic pieces on there. They're just basically the frame itself flying around. And I'm happy with the way this looks. It's brown because, I don't know, I just picked brown. Felt like it. I unfortunately did have to make this a rear loader. I tried putting this thing up on the front, and I tried all kinds of different configurations. What the hell have I done here? Oh, I forgot I did that. You know what? We're going to change this while we're doing this because this is one of the 3.7 million things that I tried to do. What I meant to have was this. Did I do it this way? Oh yeah, that's right. And then, oops. And then we'll do this. And then you see we're at 99 mobility. I think we can delete that and add the HE300 grav drive, because it was the same grav thrust, but it was a lighter. Okay. So I have to change my cockpit from the 220 to the 200. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, well, give me 1 second. Alright, this is Mumsy from the future. I'm back, and I made that change to the cockpit. I had to downgrade it by from the CP220 to the CP210. So I lost, I think, 20 cargo. I don't even remember what it was last time, but now we have 2,325 cargo. But that puts us back within budget on our mass at 1,263. So if I go any higher on the mass, even if I add like 1 kilogram, my mobility drops to 99. We don't want that. So anyways, let me get this thing taken apart. I'll show you how it goes together, and then we'll take it out into space and get a nice little glamour shot of it and go from there. Stand by. Alright, I'm back. I'm going to do this by decks. This is deck 3, this is deck 2, and deck 1. Deck 1 just comprises of the Stroud living quarters, 2x1. There's 4 Aculander 11 landing gears, and I've got them so the tapered edges are facing outwards. You can set them up like this if you want, if you needed some hard points on the outside, or connection points. But I don't need any of them, and I'm just going to have them tapered out just so it looks better. On the aft end, I'm using a ship bed 200 from Tayo, and this is one of those ones that can flip forwards or backwards, and I got it facing backwards. On the front of the living quarters, I've got a Galleon S204 cargo hold. On either side, I'm using a Nova braking engine, and in front of that, a 10T hauler cargo hold. You can only get these cargo holds on the Alliance side. You can't get them on the Freestar Collective side. So if you want to get one of these, like, come to New Atlantis or something. That's deck 1. Deck 2 is mainly this mess hall. It's a 2x3 from Stroud. I'm using 6 of these Nova cowlings. And they're going to stick out by 1 on either end. You need it to stick out on this end because that's where the number 5 and the number 6 engine on this side are going to connect. Oh, and I've already got all the weapons hooked up. It doesn't matter where you put them. They're just there's plenty of points on this ship to put them wherever you want. And I'll go through the weapons at the end after I get it all put together. The number 5 and the number 6 Nova cowlings up there. And that creates this little void here. It kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon in the front. And we're going to stick our 2 fuel tanks, the Titan 450 HE3 tank and a Titan 550 HE tank right there. And then the Stroud bracer. This is the Stroud bracer A. Yeah, this goes right there. And that's basically just to cover up the hole, and so you don't really see what's back there. That's deck 2. Actually, I'm missing something. Oh, here it is. I'm using a Helios 400 grav drive, and it goes right there on top of the ship bed landing bay. Deck 3 is this section up here. So the middle section that holds everything together is the Stroud control station 2x1. Behind it, and on top of the grav drive, is the Tokamak X300 reactor. And I like this reactor, even though there are some reactors that have slightly more power, because you can paint it, and it's enclosed in a encasing, so you can make it brown, and it doesn't look like it's. It looks like you can match it with the rest of the ship. Speaking of that, I never did the grav drive. Alright, on the sides, actually let's look up the cockpit first, which is now a Viking CP210 cockpit, down from that 220 I started with. And then I was trying to get a little artsy up here at the top. I didn't really know how to make what to put on the side, so I did a bunch of these Deimos bumpers. And I went through a lot of different like patterns, I guess you could call it. Because originally I was trying to do this. Because when you put these in the other configuration, they get real long, and you can set them like that. So I was trying to do it that way. And then I did it where it was just like this on both sides. And then I thought I could do this little wavy pattern. I don't know. I like it. The engines, I'm using 6 of these Ares DT60s. Now, when I do the Class B refit, you go down here and they have the same engines, except instead of having one engine, it's 2 together for one section. And you only have they're 4 power. Are they 4 power? 3 power. So you can only have 4 of them. So when it's a Class B, the ship is going to look identical to what it is now, except it's going to have that for the engines. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is why you needed these points sticking out here. 5, 6. And then I did these weapons mounts, these horizon weapons mounts on the edges of the wingtips here, so I can stick those on there. They're not necessary. I could put these up here on the wingtips, but I don't know. I just like the way that looks. As my shield generator, I'm using this Marduk 1040A. I'm gonna set it right on top of the Tokamak. And I had a little bit of tonnage when I got done, and I settled on these Nova radiators, and they fit, I mean, just barely under these Deimos bumpers. I kind of like the way they look. And that's the ship. 8 crew members. I think I said it's got 5 passengers, room for 5 passengers. 28 light year jump range, which is the minimum I'm gunning for, and 100 mobility, 150 top speed, 1263 mass, which I'm maxed out at right now. The weapons aren't overly powerful. I think the Freestar Collective ones are a little bit more powerful, plus the Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors. But this isn't really a combat ship that I didn't build it specifically for combat. And I was just going more for looks and everything, so whatever. Like, I could have used the auto projectors. I might still do that actually, but I don't know. I'd have to downgrade the Viking cockpit to the CP200 instead of the 220. Anyways, that's the ship. Take you inside real quick. Oh, I forgot to paint the fuel tanks. When you come in, you can see the ladder goes all the way to the top. There's a bed here if you want to get your rest at XP. Nice open area, hang out, eat. There's a conference room over here. I found that you can actually put a porthole right here. but you're just looking at the back of the fuel tank, so it wasn't really worth it. Control station gives you 4 crew members, plus another 4 for the cockpit. Alright, we are in space. Let's see if I can get some, whoops. Actually, you know what, let's hit the... Go into photo mode. It's been a while since I played a game actually, so I'm a little rusty at this. So this is the ship. This is my Class A Razorback. The only thing, like I said, I forgot to paint those fuel tanks in there. Normally they'd be brown. That gap right there on the front, I thought about glitching it, but I don't know. I don't really want to break my streak of no glitch builds. But this is the ship. It came out pretty nice. I'm happy with it. I hope you guys like it. And when I do that Class B refit, like I said, it's going to look, I think, almost identical to this. I'm thinking that it is. I don't expect much to change. But we'll see when I get the video done. Anyways, I will chat with you all later, and have a good day.